sending my apprentice, Darth Maul, to join you.
The Force of Others, a Star Wars podcast.
What fun! What fun!
Hello there, and welcome to The Force of Others. I'm Zachary Owen Turner.
I'm Matt Boitner.
I'm Adam Gagnon from Imperial Remnant.
That's right. We've got a guest. We're not alone again. We are talking Star Wars with another person this week, and it's a very special week for us because it's the week of Zach's birthday.
Woo!
Yay! And we're going to talk Maul Shadowlord here in a little bit. We're also going to talk about the Mando and Grogu trailer here in a little bit. There's so much going on. But before we get to all of that, I have a ridiculous... Oh, what were you going to say?
Oh, no, I was just showing off my Mando helmet.
There he is. Always lurking. But okay. I have a stupid game for Zach. So 2 weeks ago, we put Darth Maul through a gauntlet of a bunch of other random characters from fictional franchises and who Zach and our guest, Joshua, thought would beat Maul in a fight.
Mm-hmm.
And they both said that Gandalf from Lord of the Rings would beat Darth Maul, which I still haven't wrapped my brain around. But Zach, I'm going to give you a birthday opportunity to just praise Gandalf like crazy, and we're going to put Gandalf through a gauntlet that is insanely overpowered, because I want to see how far this rabbit hole goes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, overpowered Gandalf gauntlet. Coming up first, you have to, Zach, Batman?
Oh, Gandalf wins.
Okay. All right, okay, so Darth Vader.
That's a tougher one. I mean, he's the chosen one. I think it's got to be Vader on that one.
Okay, all right, so there's a limit.
Yeah.
We're gonna push the limit. Yoda.
Ooh, they're basically the same. I think Gandalf has more martial prowess. Well, I don't know. I mean, Yoda does the flips. You could write.
Hey man, it's your
Yoda.
list.
Oh, that's so hard. I am gonna give it to Yoda. No, just based off of age.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like I said, super overpowered Godzilla.
Oh, I mean, he beats the Balrog, so I'm gonna go Gandalf.
Okay, like I said, super overpowered Toro Calican.
Oh, Gandalf, hands down. It's not even...
I should explain, Adam, that's a long-running bit. It's the bounty hunter with the earring from Mando Season 1, and we kind of hate
okay.
him.
I was going to say, I don't know that character, but I probably shouldn't have said that out loud, being a lore channel.
Whatever. Okay, so super overpowered. The movie version of Paul Atreides from Dune, specifically the 1984 one, where he can make it rain, he can see the future, he can explode stuff with his voice.
Oh,
who
we're talking
wins?
about David Lynch?
Yeah, the David Lynch,
All
Space
right.
Jesus, Paul Atreides.
The voice versus magic. That is hard. I don't know. I like Gandalf more. I'm gonna go Gandalf on that one.
Okay, super overpowered Dr. Manhattan from Watchmen.
Oh, I mean, he could rewrite all time. I'll go Dr. Manhattan.
There's a moment. I thought you were going to say Gandalf. I was going to say Zach. All right, Jean Grey in full Phoenix form.
Ooh, full Phoenix form. Gandalf is the keeper of the secret fire, so I'm gonna go Gandalf. I think he would find a way.
All right, and because you have to, full geek, dark side, DC Comics.
Ooh, I think Gandalf would inspire somebody else to kill Darkseid.
All right, because it's your birthday week, we'll give it to you. There we go. Well, and Adam, to get you involved in this, are you a Lord of the Rings person at all?
I like Lord of the Rings a lot, but I've read the books one time each, and I love the movies, so I don't go too deep.
Hey,
cool.
That's deeper than most.
I wanted to, but one massive franchise's lore is all I can really keep in my head.
That's perfectly valid. It's perfectly valid. Well, okay. There's our Gandalf gauntlet. Happy birthday, Zach. And because it's your birthday, I won't challenge you on any of it. I just wanted to give you the most overpowered gauntlet that I could think of. I was trying to figure out how to do it, and then I was like, oh, I know. Godzilla. We'll just go from there. Okay. All right, but so that's our game for the week. If you have an idea for a game or a question you want us to answer, email your questions, forceofothersradio@gmail.com, or just put it in the comments if you're younger than like 35. But all right, so moving into the Force of Us, We're going to talk about our weeks and what our Star Wars adventures were this week. And we're going to start with the guest. So, Adam, how was your week and how was your Star Wars week?
Week's going pretty good. Finished up some projects, so I have more time for Star Wars, which is always nice. I hate when I'm making a video for the day it's supposed to come out, because if anything goes wrong, that's my entire night. But I've been reading a lot more. I've been reading the 1976 Star Wars that came out before the movie.
Cool.
So it's basically like you're reading an early draft of the script, which is cool. And I finally started my thorough Legends audiobook, reading book, go through everything again from the top, because it's been since high school.
Wow.
Man.
So,
what are you on
lots
right
of Star
now?
Wars. Heir to the Empire was my first ever Star Wars book, so that's where I started.
Nice.
Right on. Well, then, just to steer into it, what's your Heir to the Empire review?
Oh, kitty.
The cat
cat.
knocked my camera down. It's holding up pretty good so far. The audiobook narrator mispronounces a lot of very common Star Wars words, and it grates on me. But I know I often mispronounce words in my videos, so I'm kind of trying to give him a pass.
Right on. Right on. Especially in the DPU, some of those words get crazy.
Yeah.
But right on. So, Zach, how was your week? And how's your birthday week been so far?
Yeah.
And how was your Star Wars week?
It's been good. It's been good. Lots of work, which has been really nice. We opened an outside patio, so it has been beautiful. But this week it is very cold, so we'll see how it goes. Had a great improv class last night at UCB. Got a show for that coming up in May, which will be really fun. And yeah, that's how. As far as how Star Wars found me, just chatting with random people, which has been really fun.
Cool.
No specific moment that kind of popped out this week, but just the mall talk is in the ether. One of my coworkers is rewatching everything. He's watching he started with Phantom Menace and all that, and so he just entered A New Hope, and so it's been really fun to answer questions, be like, okay, so where is this? Where do I need to go next? And all that. So he's just doing main movies for now, and then he's going to go into the nitty gritty. But he's also watching Maul, which is been fun to talk about, and it's also fun to see a fan who's not diehard like we are, just who's a casual fan experience Darth Maul, and so that's been kind of fun. And he's the first 2 episodes he was really into it, and then lately he's been yeah, it's fun, so which is a fun juxtaposition to me being it's the best thing ever. Did you see? But yeah, but that's how it was my week and how Star Wars found me. What about you, Matt? How was your week?
Week-wise, it was reasonably normal and kind of uneventful. And when I say that, I feel like I'm forgetting a real-life event, but I don't have one right now. So things must be fine. But as for my Star Wars week, I had a huge, massive Star Wars week. I'm similarly on a Legends book tour right now.
Nice.
I finished Fate of the Jedi Abyss. So I am now, that's 3 books into that series, and I went ahead and started the 4th one. And then after that, next on my docket is Shadows of the Empire, because that book turns 30 in 2 weeks. So I think Zach and I are going to review that here in a little while. But I got to guest on Meddler's Corner. Shout out to that podcast and talk some Mole Shadow Lord. We want to give a shout out to, this isn't a Star Wars thing, but friend of the podcast, Ian Wilkins, a.k.a. Spiky Tortoise, has his Kickstarter going right now for his original kind of pulpy, retro sci-fi show, Rockets, Ships, and Ray Guns. Go check that out at Spiky Tortoise Comics on Instagram and YouTube. If you haven't seen his Dark Empire Star Wars animated fan film, go watch that. It's awesome.
So good.
He takes the audio just from the Dark Empire radio drama, but does it in a retro late 70s, early 80s animated style, and it's so cool. But then I had kind of a fun, I made a Star Wars friend at Womprat_Mando on Instagram. We just started talking. Skywalking Through Neverland, they're big Galaxy's Edge. They're a big Galaxy's Edge podcast, right? They love going into Galaxy's Edge in LA all the time. And I guess they reopened the Doc Ondar's Den of Antiquities or whatever with a bunch of other props. And I commented on one of them because there was a new Gorman protest sign hanging, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, I need that!" And I was just kind of saying that because it looks so cool. And immediately at Womprat_Mando comments back, was like, "Hey, I make that if you want it." And I was like, what? And I didn't know who that was from anybody, but he's a cosplayer and he just makes stuff. And Skywalking was like, Star Wars friends making Star Wars friends. But so I reached out to him and I have ordered, and he has already mailed to me a distressed Gorman protest flag. So I'm very excited about that.
That's awesome.
And there was one other Star Wars conversation I had. Friend of the podcast, Rocky Westbrook. And I said that, and then I didn't pull it up. Oh gosh. Oh, he says, because him and his son are watching Maul Shadow Lord right now, and he says, my son made a fun observation. He said Maul is the Obi-Wan of the Sith. Like, they're absolute foils for each other. They match. And I was like, explain. And he says, I think he's referring to their personalities, both very selective with words, both very intelligent into their looks into the Force, both calculating and representing the light side and the dark side. They're both very intelligent, very, very conversational, but very calculating. Yeah. And I didn't really think about that before, but so just to kind of toss that over to you guys, do you think that Maul and Obi-Wan are kind of mirrors of each other in that way?
I mean, they've always been foils, especially in Clone Wars. You know, I mean, they're villains. They're fated together. Two sides of a similar coin. That's kind of a fun extra wrinkle in there.
Yeah.
What about you, Adam?
Yeah. I like that. And to take it a step further, if Shadow Lord, because we all know it's based on a lot of George Lucas's ideas from his treatments, if it actually took place in a further timeline, it also has that Obi-Wan thing about him being the one constant to like carry over eras.
True.
Yeah. I love that. But yeah, thanks, Rocky. Always sending, every now and then Rocky is on a Star Wars kick and he will text me daily with just like the awesome novel-length text messages, and I'm like, I gotta piece through all this lore. But I keep doing it, Rocky, and we'll have you on the show eventually. But moving into the Star Wars that isn't happening now, but is gonna happen so soon. Yeah. A month from today, my butt will be in a theater watching. Sounds like it's just my butt. My butt will be in a seat in a theater watching The Mandalorian and Grogu on the big screen. We got a final trailer last week. Wasn't it like on a Thursday or randomly or something at like, it was at like 7:00. I was in my office here, or it's not my office, but I was in one of the practice rooms here at my academy, literally getting ready to go home. And I saw Mando trailer drops and went, nope, sat back down and recorded the reaction and put that up. I want to draw just people's attention to it if they don't know. Some of the bigger Star Wars creators in the space got invited out to Jon Favreau's studio in LA, and I didn't realize the interior set of the Adelphi Rangers, like X-Wing bar base, essentially, that we've seen on the show and we're going to see in the movie. That's a standing set that still exists, that it connects to Favreau's archive. But Star Wars Explained was there. Luke's Outpost was there. Carly King was there. Adam Savage was there.
Yeah.
There were a bunch of people, and they've all seen the first 20 minutes of the movie, apparently. So those spoilers exist if you want to look at those. I don't. I have avoided that like the plague. But I just thought it was cool that they got to do that, and I did watch all the videos looking at all the props. But all that to say, the press tour is really taking off. But so we'll start with Adam. What were your thoughts on this final Mandalorian and Grogu trailer?
I almost didn't even watch the trailer because it's like the trailer's to sell the movie. I'm going. We're all going. But of course, I couldn't resist, so I did. The only complaint I have is they should not have shown the resolution to the giant robot fight.
Yeah.
Why would you give that away? Like, we know he's going to live, but how is he going to? But whatever, very small, minor thing, because you know the hero's going to win. I'm super psyched, and I've always had this feeling that we know 90% of what we're getting for it. We're going to walk into familiar territory. It's going to be another Mandalorian adventure, fine. But there's going to be that little bit of surprise. And the line, I forget the exact line, but it was something about like, Grogu being the next generation or protecting the elders. I think that mixed with a little bit of Thrawn is going to be the deeper Star Wars connecting story of it.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. Zach, what about you?
Yeah, great trailer. What I'm most excited about this movie is the art direction of this movie. Like, all of these look like cinematic. I mean, they look like paintings, like him looking at the giant snake. I don't like snakes, but that snake is cool, man. That giant white snake is so cool and scary. I loved hearing a little bit from the Hutts, and just some voice lines from them, but I loved knowing a little bit of where they're going to integrate into this. But I hope we have not seen most of the movie is my one thing. Is we know a lot about this movie. We know a lot about the plot. I hope there are those nuggets that you were talking about, Adam, of like the surprise. I want to walk into this and be surprised. Which is hard when you're trying to sell a movie that isn't a main story Star Wars movie. You kind of have to throw everything at the wall and see who comes. So you don't have another Solo happen. But that's my big fear, is that this is going to have a box office like Solo, and then they're going to be like, all right, no more Mando movies, no more movies that aren't, mainline Star Wars. But to me, it looks beautiful. It looks really fun. And this one had me really sold on the heart of the movie, which is, like you were saying, that we protect the young, and then the young protect the old.
Which takes me to my biggest takeaway. They're laying it on really thick for me in the last two trailers, especially in this one. Do we think Din's going to die?
I don't think
Y'all were certain, like, no. Well, why not?
Money.
Because it's a character that you don't need the same person in the suit the whole time.
Fair.
It's
That's
very
fair too,
easy to make those movies, or the show, or, like, even if, like, Brendan Wayne can't come in, or Lateef Crowder can't come in, or Pedro can't come in, you could throw somebody, like, you could put him in another movie, have him show up for, like, 10 seconds. I don't know if you guys are wrestling fans, but he showed up at frickin' WrestleMania this weekend. And you're like, that's Mando, and there's a little robot of Grogu. Like, that's them, you don't need, like, the costume sells the character, so you don't need. So I don't think he's gone. I think you could throw him in anywhere.
Hey, I mean, I agree. They were laying it on thick that he's going to be in trouble. But so I think what this, if I had a prediction as for what the story is going to be, I love the bit in the trailer where, like, it opens, one of the first things Din says is, check your armor before you go into battle. And then at, like, the end of the trailer, Grogu, like, tightens his little chest plate or whatever and goes walking out to rescue Din. I think that's what it is that Din is going to get stuck and Grogu will be the one that saves him.
Yeah.
Not for the first time, but for the first time where Din is, like, actually, like, a prisoner or something. I hope that we haven't already seen the moment of Grogu rescuing him. I hope it's not when he takes out that droid. Like, I really want there to be more to it than that. If that's the moment, I will be super upset. Even more upset that we've already seen it. But if it is Grogu going out and meditating in the swamps of Nal Hutta or whatever that is and deciding, no, I can be the hero now, then, like, the title The Mandalorian and Grogu would kind of almost make even more sense in a way that, like, they are a team now.
Mm-hmm.
They're closer to equals than they've been before. Grogu is growing up a little bit. But, and one other thing... Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, there is a world where Din does die, and Grogu just uses the Force to bring him back. So he dies, but doesn't stay dead at the end of the movie.
Oh.
We have seen him Force heal. That's pretty smart.
Because there is that shot that, where they're, and I forget what the line that's over it is, but where Din's clearly on the ground and Grogu's touching his hand.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, are they gonna kill him? Yeah, what if we get another, bringing him back.
I'll be
I
mad
think this
about
time it would be more earned, so I would like it.
Two sides of coin. I love it.
Well, so, okay, but I was wrong. I got one other thing to say about this. There was that rumor, and there were a couple of these rumors about a little over a year ago, where that this was going to be the last project that Jon Favreau was working on in Star Wars, and that this was the end of the Mandalorian story proper. And so having all that rattling around in my brain, and again, rumors are rumors, and we're in an era where anyone, us included if we wanted to, could just make something up and put it on the internet, and then it'll get picked up by every other news outlet. Because this Star Wars rumor will get clicks. And it is possible. I don't know. It's possible. But okay, that's enough on Mandalorian and Grogu. I thought about this yesterday. Zach, you and I are reviewing Mando Season 2 in 3 weeks. And the week after that, Mando Season 3. So I got to get back to watching that. Yep. I forgot about it. I was like, all right. But anywho, moving into the current show, Zach, set us up for Maul Shadow Lord.
Let us all get mauled. Give us all of the maul.
I want to go to the mall and see Maul.
Maul Shadow Lord.
Yeah, we got 2 new episodes of Maul Shadow Lord. Maul's episode 5, Inquisition, and episode 6, Night of the Hunted. We're going to go in, give our little spoiler-free review. We're going to start with Adam, and then I will go, and then Matt will go. And then we will go through all of our likes, our Star Wars therapy, and then our discussion questions. So handing it over to Adam, give us your spoiler-free review of these 2 episodes.
Episode 5, I had this feeling of the show keeps saying like, okay, get ready, never mind. Okay, get ready, we're gonna, not this time. 6, we finally got it. 5, I was just kind of like, we're a little late in the game for an entire episode to say one simple thing. I don't want to get more specifics. I don't know how spoiler-free we're supposed to be being, but I think anyone who has seen it knows exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah. All right. I like that. I agree that 5 feels like a little too much setup to go into 6, but man, 6 is great. 6 is where I feel like we're finally cooking with gas in a way that we haven't been before. Pedal on the metal. Pedal on the metal
to the
pedal to the metal. Thank you. Pedal on the metal. Yeah, I'm excited to see where it goes. I am ready for a certain character to die. I'm ready for a character to die because we have had so little stakes so far. But we'll see where it goes. Matt, let's get your.
Right on. To keep the force balanced, as it were, I thought both these episodes were awesome. I loved that 5 was this terrifying boots on the ground, firsthand look at the transition of Janix into an Imperial colony, right? Individuality is being stamped out. Any type of failure is met with, we presume to see torture and death. You know? And in that way, it was kind of a slower episode. But then, like you said, the next one is a full-on chase for, I think, like 15 out of the 20 minutes of actual, like, episode. It worked for me. I liked that they took the time to show things changing now that the Empire has arrived. But now we're going to dive into spoilers. Well, before we do likes, I'm going to say this. Adam, what was the one thing that you were talking about? Long episode to get to one thing.
Just that Lawson's family is now harboring the Jedi. That's all that actually happened in that episode. Because we knew the Empire was coming. We know the Empire's tyranny. So this whole 22-minute bridge is just to put 2 people into Lawson's house.
Fair.
That's fair.
It's
right
hard
on.
for me to like criticize because I can't point to anything to be like, I didn't like this. And the show looks great. It's scored great. Everyone is like performing great. It's just like, I just feel like episode 5 should have been episode 3. Episodes 1 and 2 could have been episode 1. Like it just, you only have 20 minutes an episode, 10 episodes in a stretch. Do it. Get there.
Right on. Well, I mean, well, okay. But so what were your biggest likes for episode 5, Adam? Like, what was there anything that particularly worked for you?
I do like the representation of the Empire, as you were saying, because I see it a lot online. I don't know if you guys get the same thing, but I see a lot of my comments where people will flat out say, the Empire wasn't really so bad because they had this. And like, that's a very slippery slope. That's not a game I want to play. Keep them evil. It's black and white. These are the bad guys. Make them bad. Every little thing they do is bad. So all for that. And I'll never get enough of the blending of the prequel and original trilogy eras where the Star Destroyers come in, but then it's the clone transport ships. The Stormtrooper armor's not quite there yet. I'll never get tired of that imagery because it is that transition period.
Yeah.
Right on.
Nice.
Zach.
Yeah, for me, I really liked the Imperial designs as well. Like as soon as he stepped off the ship, that old guy, I was like, oh, great, old British. People. Love it. Vario really worked for me in this episode. He continues to work for me. But the line, what do I get? You live. That's a good point. I live. It's like, oh, maybe I'll stay in the bowels of the city. Bowels aren't bad, except for the smell and the darkness. I didn't think that he was going to work for me as a character, but he has just been working in a way that I need him to work. Like you need a little levity, and he's your like dark, evil levity that really works for me. I really loved seeing Mandalorians dissenting against Maul. As them being like, okay, as long as the credits keep flowing, like we're here, which is very interesting because I thought they were there for like the passion of Maul, but you find out that some of these are not. But for me, the biggest thing that really works in this episode, and a character that I don't think worked in other media, is Marok.
Yeah.
I think Marok really shines in this episode. I thought in Ahsoka he was fine, but I was never afraid of Marok. In this episode, he is scary. Also, his helmet works so well in animation, and the cape, he feels like a Black Knight. It's very medieval knight. And just the initial, I know Matt had already posted his reaction, but the fingers over the shoulder, even though we saw it in the trailer, getting the extra context, I was like, oh, he's scary. I also really liked Daki in these episodes, but specifically this one. The quote is, "It's your voice that speaks, but it's Maul's words I hear." Just like the wiseness of Daki, I really enjoy. I like that Riley finally got some screen time. He came out of the thing at the beginning. I was like, okay, cool, there's Riley, and then he's like, hey, I'm gonna check in on my dad. I was like, hey, look at you're in the show. A silly moment, but I really loved the two droids arguing about who is posted where. When the Empire comes in, Riley like goes up to the gate and he's like, hey guys, I'm going to see my dad. And they're like, he's like, I'm supposed to be at this post. It is protocol. He's like, well, Imperials say that I'm supposed to be at this post. Stupid, but fun. A silly moment, but I really loved it. That Daki using the Obi-Wan from A New Hope mind trick. You do not need to see Imperials, but it doesn't work because there's enough of them around where he's like, why did you let that guy through? He showed you nothing. It was really great. And then I really loved the ending. I really loved how it led into the next episode. As soon as this episode started, though, I went, Matt, you were right. They all pick up right after the other one. So
yeah, that's another minor.
You want a little time jump?
Well, either do a movie or do a series.
And to that, I think what makes it work for me is that we know there's a season 2. You know what I mean? If we thought this was a one and done and every episode is picking up immediately afterwards, I'd be like, come on, guys. This is the only Darth Maul story we're telling. I think that might be part of why they announced, hey, there's a season 2 coming. There's at least one more adventure. And the numbers that this show is doing, we're probably going to get more than season 2, I would wager. Like, we don't have the streaming analytics are weird, but what analytics we have access to, like it's breaking records and stuff. But going into the stuff that really works for me, the whole Star Destroyer arrival, the whole just they make it so clear Janix will never be the same. I wanted to shout out, I heard it immediately. David W. Collins and Whitwer are both in here voicing Stormtroopers.
Oh,
the first Stormtrooper voice you hear is David W. Collins. And I like that they're doing this thing intentionally. We are back to where kind of all the like in the original trilogy, all the Stormtroopers sound the same.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they're different individuals, but they all kind of sound almost exactly the same. It's that mystery of when we were kids, or where we're like, are the Stormtroopers clones? Are they robots? What are they? And Filoni has talked about how George always said that the clones started the same, but the Jedi encouraged individuality, and they became more different, where the Stormtroopers started different, and then the Empire kind of made them more the same over time.
I love that.
I love that Daki and Maul are still nursing injuries. Like,
Yes.
Daki jumps, it's like, oh my god, my chest. And Maul's like limping in that like early sequence. I thought that was funny. And Zach, you brought up the Mandos. That tied into a question I had in our first review of Shadow Lord, where I was like, why are Mandos following him?
Mm-hmm.
Maul betrays all of them on Clone Wars Season 7. Die well, Mandalorian, and like leaves. But it makes sense. These aren't honor-bound warriors. They're just like, well, we're here for money.
Yeah.
Which begs the question, how does Maul have any money? They're living in like a pit on a crap planet, but
Matt, what was the first thing we saw on this show?
oh my god, you're so right.
Yeah.
They
He's just
stole a
ripping everyone
ton of
off.
credits.
Valid. Fair. All right. Good point. Well done. But yeah, guys, Marok's entrance. The fingernail marks on the desk, which do we think that's from the chief?
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
Like, yeah, we saw the, Marok grabbing his shoulders in the trailer, but it was so much scarier here. And it's full on another The Dark Knight reference.
Mm-hmm.
They're leaning into making this The Dark Knight in Star Wars in a way that I think is really, really fun. I don't care what anybody says. This is Spybot's show now. Like, me see what Impy see. I laughed so much. It's so stupid. I love him. I thought it was really funny, Rook Cast being like, hey, Maul, we can bounce, right? And that Maul's basically like, shut up, stupid. I need an apprentice. Have you been paying attention? I've been talking about this like this whole time. And then, so Marok is so much more capable here than he is on Ahsoka, than they are, than she, whatever, that we assume I don't know, whatever is under that mask, to the point that my dude has psychometry.
Yeah.
That was crazy to me. I have a discussion thing about that later, but I was like, because that used to be basically just Quinlan Voss, and now a bunch of people are doing that, but we'll get into that more later. I really liked this episode, but moving into Star Wars therapy was, we'll start with Adam. Was there anything that didn't work for you that you haven't already mentioned for episode 5?
Pretty much just what I mentioned, where it just felt like there's nothing that I can say I disliked, but it just more, come on, get on with it. I don't want to take on the role of like ruin everyone's fun, but I really don't like Maul's little droid.
Really? You don't like Spybot?
He just reminds me so much of the little droid from the Transformers movies. It was always just around talking to
yeah.
himself and turning into like blenders and stuff. It's like, I don't need this.
That's valid.
The
I'll
design
take
and stuff is
Spybot
cool.
over
Just
that guy.
have him stop talking to himself.
Hey, man, he gets paid per line, all right? So you gotta...
I'll give you the, like, I think it works in a way that, like, you need something to be funny in a show that's this dark. The only moment that I will give you that I was like, that seems out of character, was when Maul was, like, scratching him like he was a dog or something.
Yeah, he's metal.
I was like, it's fun and it's cute, but I feel like Maul would be like, go away.
Yeah,
And,
does
like,
Maul feel affection for anything? Like,
Yeah. That's
no.
a good...
yeah, exactly.
But Zach, what about you? What's your Star Wars therapy needs for this episode?
It was the opening line of the Imperial and the captain, not the captain. He's like, who are you? who's asking? I'm asking. Who are you, Lieutenant Blake? Like, it's like, come on. It's so cliche that I was like, oh, come on. Like, we've seen, I know you're doing the thing that we've seen a million times, but you're really doing the thing we've seen a million times. We can't have, like, she could be cool in another way. She doesn't have to be the same snarky cop that we've seen in all other media, like I don't know. Those lines just, they got to me. That was like my one major dislike for the show or for the episode. I just was like, come on, we could write something a little better.
Well, it's so funny. I forgot to talk about Lieutenant Blake, or Commander Freckles, as I've been calling him. As soon as he appeared, my dude's got freckles all over his cheeks. I loved him. I love that he was so like cheesily evil. He reminded me of the low-ranking, super racist Imperial on a Bad Batch. I can't think of that guy's name to save my life, but the one that spoilers, Crosshair ends up having had enough of and shoots.
Oh yeah.
Where he's just like, he's so like just convinced that the Empire is the right way to go, and that he is so evil. I thought it was super cheesy that he points in the Chief's face, but I was also like, love that. I love that. Mustache twirlingly evil. So I mean, I don't have any therapy help for you. It worked for me to the point that I didn't have any dislikes for this episode. I really liked the whole thing. But so moving into, go ahead, Adam.
I was just going to say, as much as like those lines are very cliche, and I see what you say, like that is kind of the Star Wars formula.
Oh, for sure.
And especially when you think about it, like I don't fall back to the thing where, it's for kids because we're all not kids and we love it. But it is kid friendly, and kids haven't seen that a million times. So that's probably part of it. And as far as like the look, Lieutenant Freckles, I'm just so glad they all look different because I love Star Wars Rebels. But there's like your main characters, then everyone else is a clone. I mean, not literally a clone, but they all look the same. So yeah, make them different, weird, give them an identifying feature, do something so that they're different people.
Yeah, that's a good point. I'll take it. Thank you for the therapy.
This is our Star Wars therapy for episode 5. But start with Adam. Do you have any questions for everybody? Anything you wanted to talk about or were wondering about?
For 5, not so much, just because I don't feel like a lot of ground was covered. I don't mean to keep harping on, like I don't want to come on and be the negative guy every time, but
no, it's not a bad thing. Every now and then we'll get a comment. It's like, you guys like everything, and it's like we don't, but we like a lot. So, anyway, we're all about being honest on this show. But Zach, do you have any discussion questions?
Yeah.
Anything rumbling?
There was one that I was thinking of while we were watching it. I was like, all right, so we know that Maul is here. Why would you start in the middle of the city? Like, why would you expect Maul to just be chilling it with the plebeians, with the regular citizens, And then I answered my own question, which was like, oh, they're fascists. They're causing fear. They're going to take over the planet. They don't need Maul right now. They need to take over the planet. And then Maul will be the secondary win of bringing this under control. But my main discussion question is, do we think that Captain Kleiss, do we think she is dead? She's been transferred permanently. Do you guys think she's dead, or you think she's Imperial prison? What do you think happened to Kleiss?
Go ahead, Adam.
I was going to say, I'm thinking it's an Imperial prison re-education camp kind of thing where they, you either comply or you're done.
Ooh.
Maybe you're going to be mining kyber crystals soon, or maybe you're going to fall in line and then be their representative for that police department.
Or she's sent to, I forget what it's called, but like the prison on Andor. Or something like
5.
that.
Yeah.
There you go. Hey, there's your lore cred kept.
There
it is. But yeah, good question. Zach, you got anything else?
Nope. Any discussion from you?
Oh, yeah.
Let's do it.
I was curious about this, and this is probably just the Star Wars thing where it is a tall tale and we're going to say lines that sound cool and the actual context doesn't matter at all. But Daki says, when he's talking about the Empire, throughout my long life I have seen the galaxy endure many changes. Tyranny is always defeated. We must remain hopeful. And I was like, what is he talking about? there hasn't, like we know, there hasn't been a full-scale war in 1,000 years. Like, what other tyranny is he talking about? The Republic has been ruling benevolently for that long. Is Daki 5,000 years old? What does that mean? Did y'all have anything on that?
I do.
Okay, go ahead.
In Clone Wars, we see the slavers. We see these different worlds that, while part of the Republic, aren't necessarily, the Outer Rim is not always following the rules of the Republic. The Hutts don't follow the rules of the Republic. But there's like many arcs on the cat people slavers, the Khajiit or whatever they are. Khajiit is from Skyrim. I can't remember the Star Wars name. But there, so we've seen tyranny in other places. Even in the Jedi Knights comic book that came out last year, we saw, two different tribes going at each other, or two different planets going at each other. There's always conflict just because there hasn't been a large scale war. A war between many planets doesn't mean that there hasn't been tinier worlds that have tiffs or wars or battles. So that's kind of how I, framed it.
It works.
Yeah, that's kind of where I was too, because I don't think they would make him older than Yoda, because you don't want to make too many Yoda comparisons, especially being that, like, Dave Filoni kicked this show off, and he has way more respect for George Lucas than to, like, crap on Lucas's supposed favorite character. So I took it to mean what Zach's saying, where it's just like, he's seen it in other forms. This is just a bigger, more encompassing form, but, like, this too shall pass kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Right on. Love it. Love it. And y'all are probably right. I was just like, I am curious. But, okay. But so to go to that mind trick moment, so Daki mind tricks one trooper, and immediately afterwards another calls him out. So, and as much as I loved, like, showing how, Adam and I talk about a lot, how the Force isn't a superpower, right? And that it's not infallible. I loved showing how easy it is for a mind trick not to work. All these other times that we've seen Jedi mind trick an individual to get out of a situation, going back to the first time we ever saw it in A New Hope, where they're surrounded by, like, a squad of stormtroopers. It looks like Obi-Wan's only talking to the one. To get too into the weeds here, are Jedi mind tricking multiple targets in those other situations?
I think it's very likely they can. I always took the Obi-Wan Kenobi to mean he mind tricked the guy in charge. He says, move along. You're not questioning your commanding officer. Because if you do, and then he feels stupid, he's going to turn to take it out on you. He's not going to be like, you're right. I was wrong. You were right to call me out. Especially you have a backwater post on Tatooine. You're looking for a droid. You have no idea why. Like, you're not super invested at that point. But I did love that scene, because it was kind of like the horror movie thing where now they acknowledge, like, well, we shouldn't run upstairs. That would be ridiculous. Like, they would go out that door. So it was that kind of like movie correction thing for me.
Yeah. For me, it was also a call out on that scene, because the original New Hope, I think it was it's either Blue Harvest, Family Guy, or one of them. I can't remember. There's some parody of it. It would be like, move along. And then the other guy looks at him and is like, why did you just tell him to move along? What are you talking about, man? So I actually laughed when the other guy came up and was like, hey, what, you didn't ask for their credentials. Why did you let them go? For me, I'm hoping that it is something like we see in the Heir to the Empire series, where Luke walks into that full room full of pilots, I think it's on Thrawn's starship, and he's just like, I'm just going to create a normalcy in the Force where I'm going to walk in and I'm going to take their uniform and they're not going to say anything. So maybe Obi-Wan's doing something like that, where he's like, hey, I'm going to mind trick this one guy and then make everything in the Force so mellow that they don't really care,
Cool.
That's cool.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. Great answers, both of you. So we got one other question, kind of like another wide-reaching Force question. I alluded to it earlier. So obviously, Marok is using psychometry. If you don't know, listener, watcher, it's long story short, you touch something and then reach out in the Force, and you can kind of feel the history of that item. In Legends, if I'm right on my lore, and Adam can check me on this, I'm pretty sure that was a Quinlan Voss exclusive, or at least it started with him. I don't know of anybody else ever doing that, but in canon, we've now seen Ahsoka do it. We've seen Cal Kestis do it. We've seen Marok do it. And then I think Quinlan also does it on Clone Wars.
Mm-hmm.
He does. He does it in the Obi-Wan episode. But do we think that this is now just kind of, that it's kind of become another like force push thing that just everybody can kind of do? And do we like that?
A lot of my understanding of Force things like that is from Legends, so you gotta have to take it with a grain of salt. But I was always under the standing, like, there's certain things that kind of everybody can do, like push and pull. You're just kind of like manipulating the space around you, so it's pretty basic. As far as like the psychometry, I think that would be a more rare power. And I always go back to the example in the New Jedi Order series when Koran Horn is trying to learn how to move an object. He can't do it. But what he can do is make everyone around him see the object move and kind of trick them. So everyone has their like niches. Like Ezra Bridger can commune with animals a lot better, or Anakin could also, but like Kanan Jarrus is like, how are you doing this? So everyone kind of has their specialty, and that's how I see it.
That's right.
I agree with that. That's 100% how I see it too. Is maybe Marok is sent here because he has the psychometry, and he is a dark detective, because they need to find him quickly. But yeah, I totally agree with everything that you said.
Yeah. Well, right on. Awesome answers. I love that. And I wanted to, that Corn Horn moment, that's actually from I, Jedi. And the only reason I know that is I read it this year.
Okay.
Not to actually you're the Lord.
That's fine.
I literally read that
years.
book. Well, right. But good on you. I read that book and I forgot that moment existed until you brought it up. But yeah, that's a good point. Everybody has the kind of their unique way into the Force. Well, all right, I got other Marok thoughts, but I'll save it for our discussion for after the next episode. Moving into episode 6, Night of the Hunted. Starting with Adam first. Biggest things that worked for you in this super long chase episode?
I feel like this is where the show needed to be a few episodes ago. Just my whole pacing thing again. I don't have to keep beating that drum, but like we're finally off to the races, and with just 4 episodes after this, I don't really see it slowing down until the last episode. At least I'm hoping. I loved the fights of it, and I loved how it never seemed like plot armor. The good guys didn't get away at a convenience. Marok is way more formidable here. Where you're probably going to talk about that after, so I'll give my thoughts on that exact thing after. But there was really nothing to dislike. This is the Maul show that I want from the start.
Right on. Zach?
This is so action-based that I don't have a ton of likes because it's all just so good and moving so quick. Specific shout-outs, though, I love at the very beginning starting with Maul's kata. When you're doing like sword work or martial arts, there's a kata where you like go through the motions and it helps you, it's supposed to help you get moves down, but also just keep up to snuff. And we actually see some of those exact same moves later when he is fighting Marok, which I loved the callback and just being like, okay, cool. He is like, training to just, I don't know. I just love seeing Maul's training. And if somebody were to buy me 2 Maul lightsabers, I would recreate that entire kata. So anybody listening, you give me 2 sabers that go together. I'll recreate that because that looks so Sorry, that looks so so criff and awesome. I love
even with all the flips and stuff, dog.
Yeah, I don't know if I could do that. He doesn't do flips,
doesn't he?
When he's
You're right. I just wanted to mess with you.
He just does the sword and then the double sword. So cool. I'm gonna try and recreate that either way, but having a double saber would be sick for that. Marok is just legit scary in this. He does the Michael Myers where they're running and he's just walking a lot of the time, which is such a great little horror trope. Matt already called this out, but seeing Daki carry his wounds through the whole couple of episodes is really great. When you're learning stage combat or combat, that's something that's really hard to do as an actor, probably easier as an animator, but really just like something that is so important to carry wounds throughout a battle. But just to see it even more so just in the daily life is really, really cool. I loved seeing how hard it is to deflect a ship's laser. They're all like double handing, like, even Marok, like it takes everything in them to deflect that ship's laser. Just a silly, funny moment. Have you ever flown one of these? And Devin goes, not exactly. Nice little like Clone Wars callback moment to them working with the clones. And then I just loved the ending fight with Maul and Marok. I thought that was so cool. The now you've seen the face of your true enemy, and ending with I mean, it looked like a profile picture for Maul, like his face with the like circle behind it. I was like, all right, I see your Facebook profile pic.
And now I want the short to exist of Maul. The lighting must be perfect. I need to get the right amount of engagement. Well, I guess I'm going to jump to a discussion question super quick, because I was watching, Maul's lightsaber kata. I was geeking out. Have we ever seen in Star Wars another character practicing like their lightsaber forms? The only one that I can think of is Rey in The Last Jedi, walking up on that rock with the Skywalker sword. But is there another time in Star Wars that we've ever seen that?
As far as like they're doing it by themselves?
Yeah, just practicing like their form on their own.
That might be it by themselves, because there's a lot of like, in Rebels, obviously there's a lot of training in how to use the lightsaber, the dark saber. Luke trains with Obi-Wan on the Falcon, obviously. But as far as someone just going out to practice, that's all I can think of right now. And this might be one of those things where as soon as we end the recording, there's a flood of like, crap, we missed it. But
I think in Obi-Wan, in the flashback, we see Anakin doing it, and then Obi-Wan walks up on him in the mullet, and he's like, oh, hello, practicing your sword work, apprentice.
You might be right there.
Anakin, stop focusing on your lightsaber and look at my Jedi mullet. All right, anyway. But okay, I loved this bit of Daki explaining Order 66. I really, really like it when Star Wars kind of reminds you, hey, very few people in this franchise actually know the galactic events. They don't know what's going on, right? Well, I think we're kind of conditioned as Star Wars fans that because in Episode 4, Luke has heard about the Clone Wars, that we kind of just think everybody knows everything. But then there's moments on Mando, right, when Grogu uses the Force and he's never seen that before and he has no idea what a Jedi is, right? That, like, most people are completely clueless to what's actually going on. Because he's like, what can only be described as a Jedi purge? And Brander's like, weird. I had no clue that happened. It's silly, but we got a name for a space lacrosse, Bodekin. Because last week we were like, well, we didn't know how to pronounce it.
Oh, gotcha.
Because they hadn't said it yet. Because we were like, is it Botekin? Botekin? What is it? Bodekin. And I loved this silly moment of Riley hurriedly cleaning up his room to not embarrass himself in front of the girl, who is thoroughly unimpressed with his life. She's just like, what, like sports? I thought that was so funny. And then we got a little bit of lore that I don't know that we got Riley's mom's name, but that she ditched to go work for the Empire on Coruscant.
Yeah.
Right? I think we can see where that's going, but we'll get there.
Two Boots does say that previously, but...
Oh, he does?
He, before the Empire arrives, Two Boots says something to Brenner, something about, like, do you not want them to come because your ex-wife left for the Empire, or something like that.
Yeah.
But we didn't know Coruscant,
right.
We didn't see her in uniform, but...
Yeah.
And she's talking to somebody in that scene where she's talking to Riley. She turns and is talking to someone and then comes back. It'd be really wild if it was like Vader, but I don't know that she's that high ranking. Yeah, oh my gosh, that would be crazy. But something that I don't know that we've seen, another moment I don't think we've seen in Star Wars before, but how close Brander and Riley are to saber duels. That, like, there are times that there are lightsabers just whipping past their heads, and I love just, like, seeing just how scared they are, like a normal person would be, as that's happening right next to them.
Yeah.
Hey, Commander Freckles, do not take away Two Boots' boots. You're a douchebag. Don't do that. Don't take that away from our boy. But I loved, I get big on the Empire being evil, right? Because kind of what you said earlier, every now and then, and I'll hear it in conversations where people are like, well, I mean, the Empire is just bringing order, and like they mean it like legitimately, and I'm like, stop.
Yeah, that's scary.
That's to stamp out any trace of individuality and try to homogenize an entire like culture is not a good thing.
No.
That just makes people easier to control.
Go read some history books.
Exactly. And as stupid and silly as that is, that Two Boots has two boots, it serves the purpose of an Imperial being like, hey, that's not standard issue. Get rid of that.
Especially because
You know
he's the
what
guy
I
who
mean?
called him, so it's just like, oh, what have I done?
Right. I know, Adam, I know you're not a Spybot fan, but I threw my head back and laughed when he called a probe droid trashy. That he was like, I thought it was so funny that because they're like the same, almost like kind of, I guess, just type of droid, right? Like they're built very, very similar. And he's like, you suck. I'm better than you. I thought that was so funny. I really, really loved, again, Rookcast talking to Maul and being like, hey, can we go? And he's like, shut up. I need an apprentice. Leave me alone. But he's like, she needs only prove her resilience and she will find me her ally. He could dive in and get involved in this Marok thing way sooner. But you see his shadow in the fight that he's just watching. He's like, I'm just going to see how she does. It reminded me of it's something Filoni has talked about with Palpatine. That people would always be like, well, but how could Palpatine let Anakin die? Like, did he know every single thing that was going to happen? And he's like, no, he's not completely clairvoyant. If Anakin gets killed, okay, that sucks. I'll pivot and find someone else. It's Maul going, let's see if she can hold her own and if she could actually be worth me putting kind of like all my hopes in this apprentice. Oh, she can. Cool. I'll show up. And guys, that lightsaber duel, holy crap.
Yeah.
Like Maul's entrance is awesome. Maul does, tying into what Rocky texted me about, Maul does the Kenobi pose, right?
Oh, really?
With the saber here and kind of like reaching, it's full on, does the Kenobi form. I thought that was wild. And the way Devin's fighting style fundamentally changes when Maul gets involved. Because she's very defense, she's just barely holding off Marok. Maul gets there, the lighting changes red. She looks red like Darth Talon. And she goes diving at Marok. And they're taking turns just attacking. And I thought it was super cute. Marok activates his second blade when Maul's coming at him. And Maul's like, cute, I can do that too. And turns on his other one.
He also looks pissed off. He's like, ugh, like gross.
Well, I think to a degree, he probably, because Filoni has talked about that, or it's either Filoni or Whitwer at some point, has said that like the Inquisitors, with the way their blades are constructed, with them being able to like, it spins it mechanically, that stuff Maul can do just on his own. And it wouldn't surprise me, and I don't think it would surprise Maul if Palpatine was like, well, Maul was a really dope assassin. I'm going to make sure that I can fabricate as many Mauls as possible. And he's like, okay, you can't beat the original.
In imitation.
I am classic Coke.
On that, I do feel like Maul probably could have killed Marok at pretty much any time, but he was letting Devin be part of the fight, because the Inquisitors are never as good as normally the Jedi who they're going after, but as the real, like, authentic good Force users. They're not like the cream of the
100%.
crop.
Yeah.
100%. Yes. And I have questions about that, but I'm going to save it because it might blow up the episode. But, all right, so Star Wars therapy time. Adam, what didn't work for you in this one?
Got nothing. I know that's not good for podcasting, but I got nothing.
Ooh, nice.
This is cool. Right on. Zach, what about you?
I got one. It's that Lawson's gun takes down the ship.
Oh, okay, I do have one. Yes, that.
They're like it was the two clone ships, and he like pulls out and he goes doo doo, and it like hits the ship twice and then hits the pilot and it goes down. I'm like, don't they have shields? Like,
these are drop ships that went into open combat.
Yeah, these are drop ships that would have been fired on like a ton of times, and they have like plating on the side and all that, and like we've seen them in space. So it's like how does his one little blaster take down that thing? But it's a minor thing. It's, you know.
Yeah.
Why? I mean, we see he shoots the pilot.
He does, but
I think
it
it's
goes
'cause he
through
kills
the
the
glass.
Yeah, but why would the windscreen break? If it could
Well, I
take like
wonder-
a pebble from space, like that would be.
I wonder if that, because I forgot to say this as I was mainlining all my likes, Brandon Lawson is one of the best shots we've ever seen in Star Wars. He's running and one-shooting so many stormtroopers, more than we've ever seen. I wonder if that gun is like souped up in some way. Because the gun pierces that dropship and leaves like scars.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know if he's got a hand cannon, maybe, but he's running full speed and just capping TK Stormtroopers left and right.
Yeah.
Maybe Lawson's just that good.
I guess.
We're gonna have to go with that.
But I got two silly ones. Why cut through half of the apartment door if you're just gonna force push it? You know what I mean? Like, Marok cuts through half of the door, and then every other time we've seen them cut through all of the door, and I'm sure it doesn't matter, but I just thought it was silly.
Yeah.
But and then this one, I liked what it meant for the story. I liked the split up of the dads and the kids for the sake of the story. But why didn't all four of them just get into the elevator, dog? Was this a Titanic door situation?
You're talking about in the casino?
Yeah, that like they have to split up and they're like, Riley, Devin, get in the lift. We'll follow you. And it's like, let's all get in the elevator together. I understand you had to split them up for the sake of the story, but I felt like Titanic. You could have made the elevator smaller. It looked like they all could have fit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it felt like he was doing it to buy them time, but if they all just left and the elevator's with them, there was no second elevator, so you had the time.
Well, I mean, story-wise, it's so that Maul can come and save Devin separately.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I guess you don't know how many troopers are coming in. You know?
Yeah.
There was another little funny moment there, too. Then Daki takes out his lightsaber, so you have this glowing blue blade, and the stormtroopers are coming in and looking the other way first. It's like, what are you guys doing? He's right there. Like 3 in a row, look the wrong way.
You don't need to clear the corners when there's a beam of blue light immediately on your left. Deal with that.
Yeah.
That's funny. Well, all right. So moving into discussion questions. Adam, do you have any thoughts, wonderings, musings about this episode?
I guess the only thought would be, is Marok that good? I believe that Maul could have killed him at any time, but once Devin proved herself, wasn't the test over, so why let him live? So I guess that would be my only discussion question. It might just be, because we need him for the next episode is the answer. But I was never under the impression that even the Grand Inquisitor was all that good. Like, Vader probably could have walked into the Fortress Inquisitorius and just wiped them all out in an afternoon and went home.
Yeah.
Well, go ahead, Zach.
So I have a theory on that. I think he is doing it because he is trying to unlock something in Devin that she will kill Marok. I think she will slice through his blade because later on we see Maul with half of an Inquisitor's blade, which means that he has to lose the one that was Asajj Ventress's planned to be lightsaber. That half is gone. So either that is going to be destroyed, Devin's going to get it, or I could also see a place where they cut Marok's blade in half and he gives her half with his other half, and he takes the other half of the Inquisitor blade to complete his old master lightsaber that he has, and so they're tied with the Inquisitor that they killed together, and it's a symbol. So I think that could happen. It's wild speculation, but I think, and then I think we'll Night Sister Marok, because we've seen the mist come out of him in Ahsoka. But I think it is to eventually have her be the one to kill, to solidify her dark side,
I can see that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right on. Well, yeah, I mean, to that same point, what I was going to say about Marok, one of the couple things, that he is so much more dangerous here than on Ahsoka.
Yeah.
Like, to the point that with what Adam was saying, this might be the most competent Inquisitor that we've ever seen. Like, Daki and Devin are, they're properly schooled Jedi.
Yeah.
You look at the duels on Rebels, and of course, the technology has changed and the style of Rebels is totally different. But I think Marok would wreck every Inquisitor we see on Rebels easily.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was rewatching it this morning, him and Maul are going back and forth a little bit. It doesn't really look like Maul's holding back once he's fighting him. I'm sure there's a part of him that's like, I would love for Riley to take care of this, but he's kind of coming. Oh, my bad.
With
Devin.
my Bodekin stick, I'm going to beat you.
Can you imagine? But it looks like he's coming for him. So I have a thought about that. And this is shout out Mortis FM. I was watching the Will and Grayson's Determined Focus stream last night. They're at 1 year of podcasting, so shout out to them. Congrats. But Grayson has a crazy theory where he thinks, he's like, hear me out. What if Marok is Quinlan Voss? And I was like, I think he said something like, I was working at the same time, but I think he said that the voice actor is the same guy that they got to do Quinlan on Clone Wars. And he was like, last time we saw him was when he's dropping off Asajj's corpse in the weird death pool thing on Dathomir. And he's like, and he talked about how in the EU, Quinlan went very dark and light and was going back and forth. And there's a little bit of that in Dark Disciple, the only real, like, long canon story we've had of him. So what if he did go dark side, and that's why he's so good, because he's a Jedi Master.
It can't be him.
Why not?
We have seen in Obi-Wan Kenobi, he goes, Quinlan was here.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's working with the path.
The path.
But
Which takes place after this. And we
right
that Marok is in Ahsoka. So I don't think it could be the same person.
Yeah, but Marok's died before then.
Yeah, but
now, yes, in 9 or 10 BBY, Obi-Wan sees Quinlan's name. I mean, when we know that whenever Tales of the Underworld takes place, Quinlan's working with the path.
Yeah.
But like, again, the Star Wars timeline's always strange. Could be he's doing that, things fail, he goes dark side.
No,
I just thought it was a silly theory. That was fun.
I think we've also seen Marok in the Vader comics.
We did?
I think so. I think he's one of the, like, isn't he one of the random people?
I don't remember.
I think his first appearance was Ahsoka. We've seen a similar, like, almost like window blind looking Inquisitor mask design from other people. The guy that's on Rebels has a very similar mask, but it's not Marok. I think his first appearance was Ahsoka.
I think so, because everyone was like, "Oh, is this Star Killer?" Because Sam Witwer played Ahsoka, and it's like, "Come on, leave it." No, it's not.
That would have been so crazy. But anyway, I thought it was a silly theory. And yes, Quinlan, his name is written. I think Grayson said something silly like, what if Asajj wrote that? Because she's like, I'm not going to write my name. I'm just going to write. But either way, I thought and then when it tied into him using psychometry, I was kind of like, what if? That would be crazy.
That definitely does narrow the pool, but I would be shocked if they went the Quinlan Voss route.
Yeah.
Me too, but I think it would explain. He is so much more hyper competent than any Inquisitor we've ever seen.
Yes.
Right? The owl gets murked by Ahsoka in a second.
Mm-hmm.
Right? But anyway, Zach, I forget. Adam, did you have any other discussion questions?
No, I don't think so. I mean, on the Inquisitor thing, it's always like there's levels to the game. Where, like, Maul is not as good a Jedi or as good a Force user as, say, Obi-Wan Kenobi. And then when they do fight, like, when she does fight the Owl guy, she's just that much better. She learned under Anakin Skywalker. And even in Rebels, when they fight the Inquisitors, like, Kanan and Ezra are doing okay. And then Ahsoka just shows up, and it's like, forget this. Like, I don't have time for this crap. Like, she's just on it. So I think that's all we're seeing is there's levels to as good and cool as Maul is. He was always, like, Palpatine's attack dog. He was never, like, an equal.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. That's valid. Love that. Zach.
Well, I'm going to ask the one that we're all going to want to talk about. At the end of the episode, is Marok talking to Vader, Palpatine, the Grand Inquisitor? Who do we think he's talking to?
Adam, take it. Who do you think?
The least fun answer is the Bird Mask Inquisitor because he hasn't come in as backup yet.
Oh, I'd be so let down
because we know in the trailer he shows up. So
yeah,
I think it's gotta be Vader or the Emperor because he kneels and he calls him my lord.
True,
right?
True.
And they go out of their way to do the Star Wars thing. The whole sequence is framed the exact same way as when Vader kneels before the Emperor's hologram on Star Wars Rebels.
Yeah.
Right? But they do the thing where you see just a shape in the hologram, and it looked like a cloak, so it could be the Emperor, or it could just be Vader's cape.
It's probably the corner of Vader's cape because I think they're going to deliver the fan moment everyone wants of Vader versus Maul.
But is it going to be this season or next season?
Can you imagine if Darth Vader shows up in like the finale or the second to last episode and it's not a fight, it's just run. Everybody run.
That's what it should be.
I think that Vader would make the most sense in universe and drama-wise because Chekhov's gun, right? Whatever you see is gonna go off by the time the season's over. And I don't think it would make sense for Palpatine to show up in this season, especially because we have seen Palpatine and Maul fight already. We haven't seen Maul and Vader fight. So it would make sense for it to be Vader, who's also in charge of the Inquisitors. Yes. They're his attack dogs, right? So, because he trains them, he monitors them. That's from the Vader comics. Palpatine has some, and he's like, yeah, go train them. They're your people to dispatch. And he's like, sick. It would make sense for him to be like, oh, Maul's there. Well, I'm busy, so take the owl guy. And if y'all can't do it, then I'll get my hands dirty. I'm off doing something else. And then when Maul and Devin defeat both of them in some fashion, Vader's like, fine, I'll show up. And the plot at that point is run. Yeah. So that's my prediction.
Yeah, I really hope the fight is run because there's no scenario where Vader lets Maul live, but we also know this is not where Maul dies, and we know Maul can't beat Vader. So it's like you really got to play that exactly right, or you're going to break a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I don't think we get it this season though. I think it'll be next season.
Really?
No, I think Vader is what you save until the very end of whatever this show is. Because we have to have some reason he becomes Old Master, some reason he abandons the crime syndicate and all that. So I think season 2 or season 3, I think we get full Crimson Dawn, and then Vader is finally the reason that he is like, okay, cool, yeah, now I'm gonna go into hiding, because that sucked. Like I got out barely. No, I'm done. Like, but.
I see it.
Especially because
jumps.
Yeah, I hope we get some time jumps. We don't see it happen in Rebels, so I think he knows who Vader is in Rebels, and I think he's like, not doing that again. So
we talked about it on the show before, but when Maul realizes that Vader is coming in the Twilight of the Apprentice episodes, he's like, cool, bye, I'm out.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm not messing with that. I'm out. And they're all like, what are you doing? He's just like, bye. And like leaves immediately. So it would make sense for us to see that. The only reason that I think it is going to happen this season, for you to have 10 episodes that it looks like they're all back to back to back to back to back to back to back, you would think for there to be a second season, it's going to be something different. And I think it would be rough especially if it's this exact same storytelling style, that it's fully serialized, every episode picks up exactly after the last one. I would think you would want to kind of close the book for now on Maul versus the Empire. And then season 2 would be Maul versus crime. Like, let's actually build my empire, right? And if there is a season 3, Vader comes back. Because I think it's a season 2 would be more of the same. If it's Maul running from the Empire again, building up to Vader,
Yeah, but that makes sense. I like that idea.
Or Maul loses but makes Vader think he killed him,
Yeah.
And that could be why Crimson Dawn needs a face, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not him.
Yeah,
exactly. Well, Zach, what other questions do you have?
Just a silly one with the all the Dark Knight references. Marok goes, "Where's Maul?" He goes, "I'm right here." But it's like, "Where are you?" He's like, "I'm here."
Good call. Good pull. I didn't realize that. Well done.
But that's all my discussions, Matt.
Yeah, so, well, I just wanted to shout out, I thought it was so funny, that moment where he's like, where is Maul? I mean, you can see it in my reaction. I was watching going, bro, why are you asking me? Like, I don't know. Why would I know? Anyway, you've been to the only place I ever was with him. But why do we think Maul turns his back on Devin with her ignited lightsaber? Like, They cut the deal. Marok's out the fight for now, and Devin takes a moment, and she kind of puts Maul on point with her saber, and he looks at her, turns off his lightsaber, and turns his back on her. And it isn't until she lowers her guard that he's like, now you've seen the face of your true enemy. Why does he do that?
Oh, he definitely got a read on her, and he knows that she's in his palm. He's got her.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with the Emperor telling Luke to take his lightsaber and kill him. He's like, I know you're not going to do it, so here it is.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's the ultimate test, you know? Also, I think Maul's stronger in the Force than Devin is, and if he needed to quickly ignite behind his back, as we have seen him do back turns in the kata that he used earlier, just, you know?
I guess it's a good point. And I guess it ties into, again, Maul being raised by Sidious. All of the tactics that he has, or at least a lot of them, are what the Emperor uses, and the Emperor does the same thing to Anakin.
Mm-hmm.
Right after he finds out that he's the Sith Lord, he turns his back on the Chosen One.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And Anakin has his saber inches from his back. It's like, are you going to kill me?
It's kind of making
you know.
the person admit that they're gotten.
Yeah.
Like Devin's like, I could have finished this, but I don't want to.
Yeah, because that's her
Right
whole
on.
goal for the first few episodes. She's like, we have to take out Maul. And she doesn't.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Right on. Well, so then the last thing I got, so it's kind of more of a prediction that's probably obvious, but I'm going to say it. I think that where we're going is that Riley and Devin are going to betray their, father figures of sorts, literally in Riley's sense, and they're going to go evil to varying degrees. I think Riley's going to go Empire, and obviously I think Devin's going to go Maul. Like this whole episode, they, again, if they said her name, I missed it. But Riley's mom is like, the Empire isn't that bad. They're really not that bad. And then when Docky and Devin are slicing up stormtroopers, he's like, what are you doing? They're laying it on pretty thick, but I think he's going to betray Brander and go be an Imperial with Mom on Coruscant. That's what I think is happening. And then I think this season will be about kind of the next generation betraying, their father figures and going to the dark side, as it were. But y'all got thoughts on that? Do you think I'm crazy?
I'm mostly on board. I don't honestly really care what Riley does, because if he goes to the Empire, what's he going to do? He's just going to join the Academy. It's not like he didn't seem thrilled that they were in the police station. He didn't seem happy with Two Boots. But it also didn't seem like he hated the Empire on principle. It was just he didn't like the change of it. But as far as Devin, it's pretty clear she's going to be Maul's pupil. I was actually really hoping they'd subvert expectations and she would resist, because that would be the not obvious story to tell. But I think that Docky has to die in order for that to happen.
Yeah.
And I think Maul can't kill him openly, because then she'll hate Maul for it. So maybe that's why he's leaving Marok alive, or maybe he does kill her and then blames it on the Inquisitors. It has to be some chain of events where Maul looks like the friend and Docky's dead.
Yeah.
Cool. Love it. Right on. Zach, go ahead.
No, that's sick. That's great. Just to wrap up our discussion on episodes 5 and 6, any wild predictions coming for the next 2 episodes, Adam?
I tend to overpredict, and the shows are always a lot more straightforward than I assume. So I think it's going to be a lot more of the same. I think Maul is tired of his henchmen. They kind of seem like 1966 Batman villains, where they just wear thug on their shirt or whatever. Even Rook, when she interrupted his kata, he was just like, what now? Come on, just leave me alone. You're an underling. Go away. So I think maybe he'll just kill them all himself, but I think he's about done with them. When he has Devin, he doesn't need them anymore. So I think that's going to happen. I do think Devin is going to be the stand-in Darth Talon. I hope they don't use the name, because it's so wildly different. For anyone who cares about the name, it's going to be too different. They're going to be mad. Anyone who doesn't know the name, just pick a different name.
Darth Claw.
Yeah, might as well be.
I think where we're going, I do think they are literally going to use the name. Or he'll just say, "You are my talon," or something like that. Like, you are the tip of my sword. You are my assassin. Because it goes back to, like, as Sam said, that a lot of parts of the show came out of discussions that Dave and George had for what Dave was planning. And we know that one of George's ideas was Talon was going to be Maul's apprentice. And that came from George, so far as we understand, having no idea who Darth Talon was before he saw a statue of her and saw that she looked like Maul and was like, cool. And that's come from different people out of Lucasfilm.
That makes sense.
And I think, but it could be the type of thing Dave does in many ways, despite what a lot of people online will say. He does respect the EU in many ways more than George did. So if he gives her the name Darth Talon, it would probably be the thing where, like Zach has said, I think on a different episode, if that's her name, she will live on past the run of this show and be some post-sequel era villain that's out there into, like, when the Legacy era happened in the expanded universe. I don't know if we know how long Twi'leks live, so you could do the thing where they live hundreds of years now because.
Right.
And so she can go be a Darth Talon type. But my biggest thing I think they're going to change is that she's probably going to have her clothes on the whole time.
I would guess yes.
And I think that's a good change. But so the next two episodes are called Call to Oblivion and then The Creeping Fear. And The Creeping Fear, I had forgotten about this, but everybody lost their minds when the episode titles got announced a while ago that that was a April Fool's Day joke title for Star Wars Episode 3 Revenge of the Sith. That StarWars.com put that out. It's going to be called The Creeping Fear. And a lot of people have been saying, hey, what if Vader showed up in the episode The Creeping Fear? Because then after that, the next one's called Strange Allies, and then the last one is just Finale, but it might change. So my just wild prediction, I'm going to put all my chips on the table. What if Darth Vader shows up at the end of Episode 8? And then Strange Allies, people got to come together to escape him.
I don't know if that happens, because that means that means next episode, the owl guy is there so quickly.
I think that if you reach out to Vader, the next thing that's going to happen is
back up.
The owl's here at the next episode. It's like, well, I'll send another one, and if y'all can't do it, then I'll show up and take out the trash.
That's true.
But yeah, okay. But I don't know, anything else to say about Maul Shadow Lord, Adam?
Anytime that I even complain because the show is going a little bit slow for me, I get lost in the art of it. It just looks incredible, and like the raw, oily, painted look of it, the fact that they did real oil paintings for the backgrounds, and any close-up on a lightsaber where it really does look like a contained blade of plasma, it's just so cool.
Yeah.
Right on. Cool. Zach, you got anything else?
Yeah, just it's a wonderful, beautiful show. I'm so excited just to have new Star Wars. We're eating good this year. And I love getting mauled at the mall by Darth Maul. So
yeah, man, it's a fun time. We got a lot coming. I'm still baffled of the rumors that Ahsoka Season 2 is actually going to come out this year, because that's crazy. At some point, we're getting the 9th Jedi show, and we're going to get this. So it'll be easy for podcast content.
Yep.
That's for sure. But all right, man. Adam, so hey, actually, about a normal length of an episode. So happy birthday week to Zach.
Thanks.
But Adam, where can the people find you and get involved with your Imperial Remnant stuff?
Find me on YouTube. It's at Imperial Remnant Podcast. It's not so much a podcast as lore videos. But yep, that's it. Imperial Remnant Podcast. YouTube's my primary thing.
Yeah.
Right
Good
on.
stuff.
Love it. And well, Zach, let the people know how they can get involved with what they just watched or listened to.
Yeah, we still have our character death bingo up, so far no one's died. But we'll if you want to share your character death bingo with us, or your predictions for what's going to happen, or if you just want to gush about the show, email us, forceofothersradio@gmail.com, or get into the comments on YouTube. If you're listening on a podcast platform, send us a 5-star review. It really helps us get engagement. Like and hit the notification bell, all the YouTube things or the podcast things. Or if you're on Instagram, hit that notification bell as well. Let us know, but just get involved with us. We're not the Force of Others. You are. We want to hear from you. And thank you so much for Adam for being on, because we get to have others in the Force of Others podcast, which is always awesome.
Yeah, thanks for having me back. It was a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely, dude. You get standing invitation. Our door is open. Now that you're a third-time guest, that just means we got to move on to the others and make more happen. But yeah, well, let us know, Adam, what you think about Mando and Grogu when it comes out.
Oh, for sure.
I don't know. Hit us up on the socials or something. And just as Star Wars fans, enjoy this buffet that you're getting right now, because
Yes.
it's not always this way. Anyway, all that being said, remember, we are not the Force of Others, you are. And remember, the Force of Others will be with you.
Always.
Ba-da-ba-da-ba-da.
The Force of Others. A Star Wars podcast.